All right. I was looking forward to live streaming this Destiny 2 Echoes Act 2 developer live stream that they did today, but I just got done watching it. It's actually some pretty good information, so I'm going to let this play in the background, sound off, and I'll just kind of talk over it as the stuff just kind of comes up. But Bungie, oh my gosh, actually, speaking of, dude, all you got to do is stop putting up the he him shit, man. The she shay, the they there 0 for what is that? Get rid of that shit, man. Like nobody cares. Nobody cares. Put like their favorite character, like Titan, Warlock, whatever their main is. Like that's more relevant to the gamer. Most of your gamers don't give a shit. I'm one of them. I know most of the big streamers won't fucking say it, but I'll fucking say it. Get rid of that shit. I know y'all have mental healthness welfare day or whatever, but good God, get rid of that crap. Stick to making the game fun. And on that note, all you gotta do is keep making the game fun. So we know it's over, the witness, done, and all that. I never really made a recap of the final shape. And they did a lot of great things. But people want to know, like, is Destiny going to stay relevant? Is people going to continue to play it? And I would say yes. And some of the things they kind of answered in this live stream that they did today or on Tuesday was, I mean, they answered some questions about, new acts and kind of what they're trying to take things. But if they just keep making the game fun, it will, it'll keep things relevant. And that's all people want. Is just make the game fun. It's not complicated. Just keep making the game fun. Not like kind of what they did last year, and they made things super slow, slowed down, and all that kind of stuff. But Prismatic has been kind of fun. Is it a little overpowered in some areas? Yes. Have they talked about nerfing some things? Yes. Will things stay as powerful as they are now? I would imagine not. I think they're probably trying to find a way to balance some of that stuff, because some of that stuff is pretty strong, especially like in PvP. I see things are just out of control. I'm not much of a PvPer, but for my understanding, Prismatic Hunter is kind of a nuisance. So yeah, just keep the game fun. That's the main thing. The artifact stuff that they kind of showed off, it's sniper heavy coming up in Act 2, and I think that was kind of an interesting thing. We knew we were going to get new artifact mods. We didn't know what that kind of meant, but they answered that with they're going to swap out 5 and it reintroduce 5, put 5 more back in. So that was kind of neat. So they kind of showed that off, and a lot of the synergies around solar snipers. So very cool. Whisper of the Worm probably going to get a lot of use. Still Hunt probably still going to get a lot of use. You can dust off those solar legendary snipers. They'll probably get a lot of use. So I know there's some decent rolls out there right now. Some solar snipers. I was really kind of looking forward to using, but I mean they're not relevant right now with the artifact that we have. So I'm kind of looking forward to that, and we'll see how that goes when we get to Act 2, which will start next week. So that was kind of cool to hear about. The other thing that they kind of showed off was the sidearm that they're kind of doing, right? Kind of, you see the gameplay that they have going. It was actually kind of neat. I mean, this is the third rocket sidearm that we are going to have up to that point. So we got the first one last season before the final shape launch in the dungeon. And then we got one. We got one with the final shape Pale Heart. It was craftable, and then this one's going to be craftable as well. It'll be a solar craftable one, so that would be pretty cool. And then, but it was kind of neat to see. We were also going to get a high impact. Is it high impact or I think it's high impact? It's the 2 burst. It's the 2 burst. Whichever one is the 2 burst. 2 burst pulse rifle coming in Act 2, so that'll be neat. The thing I don't know if I'm going to care for. I think they showed off Volt Shot. I don't think I'm going to care for Volt Shot on that thing, but you know, we'll see. Mostly because I care for reload speed on Volt Shot, and I think there's other pulse rifles that kind of do that perfectly fine. I don't think that's going to satisfy that need for me. I'm going to probably stick more with something that's going to hit hard on a two burst. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. But you know, we'll see. The thing I kind of that they started to talk about with the battlegrounds, and we'll come back to the story here in a second, but they were talking about battlegrounds, and they're running one here. Obviously, you can see on the left side there, they got Battleground Delve. And it was really interesting to hear what they were talking about for the 3 battlegrounds that are going to be coming. And you're going to have 2 that drop the first week of Act 2. So next week we'll get 2 battlegrounds. And it starts kind of in that out in the public area of Nessus. And it comes inside, and this is the first one. And we go down, and we'll do a boss fight, and it ends. And then the second battleground picks up where the first one ends. And then at the end of the second one, at the end of the second battleground, that's when the third battleground will start, and it'll go on in its journey further down into the center of Nessus. I thought that was really cool. We're going to get the first 2 battlegrounds this next week, and then the following week we will get the third battleground. And so that's interesting, because if that takes us all the way down to the center of Nessus, where would that leave us for, you know, wrapping up Act 3? Like, where are we going in Act 3 then? So that, yeah, I'm interested to kind of see that. So yeah, as long as they keep it fun, keep it fresh. I kind of like the idea right now. I like the idea of the axe. The only thing I don't like about the axe, hear me out. The 2 things, I kind of have 2 thoughts on the different acts within the episodes. I like the axe and their ability to kind of change the artifact mods to keep it fresh, keep it feeling a little bit more fresh, rather than it being, oh man, 4 months of the same artifact. It's, you know, it kind of breaks it up every 6 weeks. Oh, we get a couple different mods. You know, we get 5 different mods changed out, and keeps things kind of fresh. There you go. That's the pulse rifle they're showing off. So I kind of like it. I think that it will work pretty good. I don't like the time gating of the story, and that was another thing that they kind of talked about, was they are no longer going to time gate the acts by weeks. So starting in episode 2, when episode 1 is over, in episode 2, Act 1, the entire story for Act 1 will drop day 1, and you can do the entire story of Act 1. So if you are going to go through it, which I kind of do, if I'm going to go do the story, I kind of like to do the whole thing. That way I'm just like into the story. I don't like the weeks broken up of the story, because then it's like, I don't even know what the story was about 2 weeks ago, especially even last week. So it's like I prefer just to be in the story, just kind of, you know, get the whole idea of what's going on. When you break it up every week, it's like, dude, I don't pay attention, man. I don't pay attention, dude. So I think that'll be a much better route, my opinion. Well, at least it will be for me. It will be for me. Everybody might be a little bit different. But that was kind of the cool thing. You're going to be able to play it at your own pace. It will release, the entire story of the act will release day 1 of that act. So I like that change. I think that'll probably suit me better as well. Especially if I'm just like, yeah, you know what, I don't want to dip in for just the story, and I'm going to dip back out of the game or whatever. But I think that'll work pretty good. And so there you go, taking a look at the seasonal artifact mods. Quite a bit of the solar stuff kind of going on there with snipers. They did talk about changes to reserve mods. You know, just like different kind of mod changes, you know, on your armor. And right now, you know, a lot of people are swapping off of armor to reserve mods, so they can get your full max reserves when you rally, and then you swap off. And so that, yeah, we kind of knew that was coming. I think they kind of mentioned there's been some hints about it. They said they're finally going to address that. I don't know if that was coming next week exactly. They did talk about it. I just didn't quite hear them say specifically where it was coming. So yeah, we got that coming, and then we also got, what was it? I mean, oh, man, what was that? Oh, hot swapping different weapon perks, Cascade Point, and like Envious Assassin or Reconstruction or something like that. Swapping off where you get the overfill on the mag, and you can swap to Cascade Point or something like that. And yeah, that was mostly on grenade launchers. So yeah, that they said that they will address that. They said there was a little bit more of a code issue that they, not an issue, but a code adjustment that, took a little longer to kind of figure that one out. So yeah, no longer will be kind of hot swapping gear and weapon perks in activities anymore. So that'll basically be done, which doesn't totally remove hot swapping in activities, but it'll probably reduce it quite a bit, especially the one where you're doing it before you rally, because you can throw on max reserves, rally, and then you can swap off to your best damage resistance, and you'd keep your max reserves. So that they said they will be fixing, addressing stuff like that. So yeah, it was pretty good. I just think if they just stick to the fun, and that was, and they did mention like, hey, you know what, we're up in the enemy count on screen. I think they said that the first strike's gonna have like 40 enemies on screen at some parts, and they were, he was kind of talking about using everybody's using all their abilities to kind of clear the area, and that's what they wanted it to feel like. They didn't want it to feel like one person is clearing the whole area. They want it to feel like everybody's participating in clearing the whole area. So I thought that was pretty good. So yeah, I thought it was pretty good. As long as they keep it fun and keep things interesting, I think Destiny will be just fine. And I think I just think that Destiny has been a fun game for much of the past 10 years. There's been some times where it's been a little bit of a slog. They've got really aggressive on monetizations and kind of slowed things down. I think Season of the Deep last year, really, with the whole water mechanic and really slowing things down, was really kind of just awful, man. It wasn't bad to maybe have one activity with that, but when you put that in every activity for that season, it was awful. I did not want to do any activity that season because it was just that bad. But they I'm interested to see where they kind of try to take the story. I think they don't need to rush to find a big bad. I think they can kind of throw some different things out there, see what people gravitate towards, and kind of take it from there. So I think they did a very good job kind of showing off some different things and kind of how seasonal mods or artifact mods are going to change season over season. I thought that was a pretty good show off of that, and we're going to talk about that. I mean, obviously we always know that, changes are going to come for sandbox changes, weapon armor changes, all that kind of stuff. But hearing how the artifact, were we going to get 5 additional mods? But them swapping out 5 mods for 5 new ones, that was kind of nice to hear. Kind of see how that was going to work. So, other than that, I thought it was pretty good. I think as long as they just keep it fun, man, they just gotta keep it fun. I don't think they have to have a main threat right now. I mean, obviously we just killed the witness. It's kind of like, okay, we're just kind of defending humanity, doing what we need to do, and then I'm sure something will just kind of present itself, and they can take their time with it. But they just keep the game fun. I think people will just kind of hang around because the game's fun and people enjoy playing the games. Alrighty, take care.